Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to where you are, born and reborn and reborn. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Hashivenu, Hashivenu, Adonai Elecha, Bena Shuva, Bena Shuva, Kadesh, Kadesh, Yamenu Kakete. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul.
Page 4. Middle of the page, you'll find that opening prayer that we sang together on Rosh Hashanah morning. Hareini mekabel alai, tzvat haborei. Here I am, ready to take upon myself the commandment of our Creator. Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, love your neighbor as yourself. Those of you who remember it from Rosh Hashanah, sing with me. Everybody else, listen to it a couple of times. It's very easy, and you'll be able to pick it out. So it's like, Hareini mekabel alai, mitzvat haborei, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. That's the whole thing. I'll try it one more time. Let's add some voices to me. Hareini mekabel alai, mitzvat haborei, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Hareini mekabel alai, mitzvat haborei, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Now you'll remember that as we added voices and filled the room with this melody, music carried out into the courtyard and onto the street. people heard us singing, and they continued to enter into the Beit Tfilah and fill up the room. So we need all your voices. Hareini mikabel alai mitzvat haboreh ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha.
Hareini mikabel alai mitzvat haboreh ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha.
The last thing we did on Rosh Hashanah morning when we sang this is we stood so that we could look around when we said ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, love your neighbor as yourself, and make eye contact with other people in the room, so that we began to live out this principle of loving our neighbors as ourselves. So everybody stand. And remember, when we get to ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, to look around and make eye contact with people in the room. Hareini mikabel alai mitzvat haboreh ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha.
Hareini mikabel alai mitzvat haboreh ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Hareini mikabel alai mitzvat haboreh ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha.
Everybody can be seated, and we'll continue on page 8. Page 8.
Adonai ahavti me'od beitecha u'mekom mishkan kevodecha va'ani eshtachave ve'echra evrecha lifnei Adonai Osi.
Continue on page 10. And at the bottom of the page, you will see Achat Sha'alti, Psalm 27, the psalm for these holy days. At the top of the page is Psalm 121. Esa enai el hecharim, I lift my eyes to the mountains. And you should recognize as we sing these psalms, the way we have been singing them through the high holidays. Ricky will begin with Chat Sha'alti, and I'll add Esa enai as we go along. It's known as the duet for
Shalti met Adonai, Ota Avakesh. Shalti met Adonai, Ota Avakesh. Shivti b'veit Adonai, Kol yamei chayai. Lahazot b'noam Adonai, uvaker b'echalot. Lahazot b'noam Adonai, uvaker b'echalot. Shalti beit Adonai, Ota Avakesh. Shalti beit Adonai, Ota Avakesh. Shivti b'veit Adonai, Kol yamei chayai. Lahazot b'noam Adonai, uvaker b'echalot. Lahazot b'noam Adonai, uvaker b'echalot.
We continue with the morning blessings on page 30. On page 30, and we rise for the morning blessings.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lasech bivina, lehavchin ben yom uven laila. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, bokeach ivri. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zokef kefufim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, rokah haaretz al hamayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehasa li kol tzorki. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamechin mitzadei gaver. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish arumim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, anoten la ya'ef koach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hama'avir sheina me'enai, u'tnuma me'afapai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'tzelem Elohim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani bat chorim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Ozer Yisrael Bigvura. Baruch Ata Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Oter Yisrael b'tifara.
Sukkot Zimra, Songs of Praise. Page 34, we start with Baruch She'amar, and you can be seated.
Baruch She'amar v'haya ha'olam, Baruch. Baruch She'amar v'haya ha'olam, Baruch. Baruch Oseh Bereshit, Baruch Omer ve'Oseh, Baruch Ozer Umkayem, Baruch Merachem al haaretz, Baruch She'amar v'haya ha'olam, Baruch. Baruch She'amar v'haya ha'olam, Baruch. Baruch merachem al habriot, mishalem zachar tov lire'av, ha'hikayom lenetzach, bodeh u'matzil baruch shemo, baruch shemo v'haya ha'olam, baruch hu, baruch shemo v'haya ha'olam, baruch hu.
We continue with Psalm 150, page 40. Page 40.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, El Kodsho, Hallelujah, Birki Ahuzot, Hallelujah, Bigvuratav, Hallelujah, Birov Dudlo, Hallelujah, 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 Hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, b'tega shofar. Hallelujah, b'nevel nefilo. Hallelujah, b'tov u'machor. Hallelujah, b'mili ve'uga. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, b'tzil t'lei shama. Hallelujah, b'tzil t'lei tu'ah. Kol ha'shama, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol ha'shama, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol ha'shama, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Page 43. Hamelech Yoshev al Kisei Ram v'Nisa. Majestic God enthroned beyond time and space. Shochen ad marom v'kadosh shemo. Eternally present. Your name hallowed on high by the psalmist who sang, Rejoice in Adonai, you righteous. For praise is delightful for the upright to enjoy. Fi yesharim titraman, uvdivrei tzadikim titbarach, uvilshon chasidim titkadach, uvekerev kedoshim tithalach. By the mouths of the upright, you are raised up. In the words of the righteous, you are blessed. On the tongues of the pious, you are sanctified. In the midst of the holy, you are praised. Your people sing by the thousands to glorify your name. In all generations, we give voice to your sovereignty. We read together on page 45. Our sovereign God, source of holiness and greatness, may your name be praised forever in this world and beyond. Eternal One, God of our mothers and fathers, your strength, sanctity, glory, and dominion are deserving of song, praise, poetry, hymn, sacred chant, and blessings
of thankfulness for all time and eternity.
Baruch atah Adonai, El melech gadol b'tishbachot el hoda'ot Adon haniflaot. Abocher b'shirei zimra melech elchei ha'olamim. Blessed are you, Adonai, sovereign of praise, source of the impulse to give thanks, crown of wonders, who desires a world filled with song and a universe of life. Page 47, we rise for Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitkadash Shemei Rabbah Ve'alam Be'alma Tivrach Yerutei Ve'amlev Malechutei Yitbarach v'yistabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromah v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalav Shemei Kodashah Baruch et Adonai Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Le'olam Vaed.
You can be seated. And we continue on page 50. We read together. In love, you bring light to the earth and her creatures. Your goodness renews the creation each day. Infinite, varied, and rich are your works, divine artist. all of them wrought with wisdom, all the earth teeming with life. Awestruck by the universe, work of your hands, let all life give you blessing and praise. Let them celebrate the beauty of your lights. Or Chadash al Tzion Ta'ir, v'niskei chulanu mehera l'oro. And may a new light shine upon Zion, our holy land. May we all soon be worthy to share in that radiant day. Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer HaMeorot. Our praise to you, Adonai, creator of the lights of heaven.
Ahava Rabbahavtanu, Adonai Eloheinu, Lemah Gdola v'Tera, Hamalta Aleinu, Ba'avur Avotenu, Ve'imotenu, Shebatchu Lecha, Shebatchu Lecha, Avotenu ve'imotenu, ותלמדם חוקי חיים, כן תכוננו תלמדנו, אבינו אב הרחמן, המרחם מרחם עלינו, ותן בליבנו להבין, ואבינו להשכיל לשמוע, ללמוד וללמד, לשמור ולעשות ולקיים, את כל דברי תלמוד תורתך באהבה. הערנו בתורתך, ודבק ליבנו במצוותיך, ויחד לבבנו לאהבה וליראה את שמך. הערנו בתורתך, ודבק ליבנו במצוותיך, ויחד לבבנו לאהבה וליראה את שמך. ולא נבוש, ולא נגלה, ולא נגשר, לעולם ועד. קודשך הגדול והנורא פתחנו, נגילה ונשמחה, נגילה ונשמחה בישועתך.
Take a moment and gather the four corners of our talitot together in one hand as we remember the ingathering of our people from the four corners of the earth. Havienu l'shalom me'arvatan nefot haaretz v'tolichenu kol b'miut me'atzenu ki el po'el shotata ובנו בחרת מכל עם ולשון, וקרבתנו לשמך הגדול, סלע באמת להודות לך, ולייחדך, ולייחדך באהבה. ברוך אתה אדוני, הבוקר במו ישראל, באהבה.
שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם אלוהינו, לעולם את אדוני אלוהיך, בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך, ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה, אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ולכתך בדרך, ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. Page 61. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohechem and Page 65. And they shall know that I, Adonai, am their God, who brought them out from the land of Egypt, that I might abide among them. I, Adonai, their God. Let's read together. You took us out of the darkness so that your light might dwell among us. You showed us your power to bring down the powerful, uplift the enslaved, transform the social order. You showed us your strength so that we might remember our own. We carry the Exodus vision wherever we go, lest we forget our sense of liberation, lest we lose the joy of breathing free, lest we grow indifferent and blind to others' pain. So long as we work to make you present, we walk the path of freedom. But if we forget to bring you into this world, then we return to darkness.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא. שירה חדשה, שיבחו גאולים לשמך, על שפת הים כולם ירדו והמליכו ואמרו אדינו לעולם צור ישראל קומה בעזרת ישראל ופתחנו מחיידה בישראל, גואלנו, אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל. As I begin to pray. Adonai, Sefatai Tito, Ufi Yagita Hilatecha, Adonai, Sefatai Tito, Ufi Yagita Hilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elokei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, B'Kodnei HaKol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם. ולעם שמו באהבה. זוכרנו לחיים, מלך החפץ בחיים, וכתבנו בספר החיים, למען אלוהים החיים. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh metim atah Rav LaHoshia. Mechalakel chayim b'chesed, Mechayeh metim rachamim rabim, Somech noflim v'rofeh cholim, Umatir asurim, Mikayem emunato l'shenei afar, Mi chamucha ba'al gevurot, Umi domer lach, Melech meimit u'mechayeh, U'matzmiach Yeshua. Mi chamocha el rachamim, Zachar Yitzorav l'chayim merachamim, Nemach atah l'chayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol.
Page 78. Page 78, and you can be seated.
ונתנה תוקף Kedushat hayom. Kihu nora ve'ayam. Uvotinasei malchutecha. V'yikon b'chesed yisecha. V'teshev olam be'emet.
Let us proclaim the power of this day, a day whose holiness awakens the deepest awe and inspires highest praise for your dominion. For your throne is a throne of love. Your reign is a reign of truth. Here is the truth of this day. You are judge and plaintiff, counselor and witness. You inscribe and seal. You record and recount. You remember all that we have forgotten. And when you open the book of memories, it speaks for itself. For every human hand leaves its mark, an imprint like no other. And so a great shofar will cry, Tekiah. Still small voice will be heard. Angels in a whirl of fear and trembling will say, behold the day of judgment, for they too are judged. In your eyes, even they are not blameless. Together, all who come into the world pass before you, like sheep before their shepherd. As a shepherd considers the flock, when it passes beneath the staff, you count and consider every life. You set the bounds. You decide destiny. You inscribe judgments.
Mirosh Hashanah Yikatevu Uvyom Tom Kippur Yechatemu
Rosh Hashanah Yikatevu, Yikatevu. Yom Kippur Yechatemu, Yechatemu.
Kama Yarun V'chama Yareyu Mi Yichyeh U'mi Yamut Mi V'kitzor U'mi Kitzor Umi lo v'gitza.
Rosh Hashanah Yikatevu, Yikatevu. Uvyom Kippur Yechatemu, Yechatemu.
Mi v'mayim umi v'esh mi v'cherev umi v'chaya umi rav umi nechama mi v'krash umi v'magefa mi v'chanika umi v'skila.
Yikatevu, Yikatevu. Yom Kippur, Yechatemu, Yechatemu.
Miyanuach, Miyashkit, Miyishalev, Miyani, Umiyasher, Miyusham,
Rosh Hashanah, Yikatevu, Yikatevu.
Yom Kippur,
Yechatenu, Yechatenu. On Rosh Hashanah, this is written. In the fast of Yom Kippur, this is sealed. How many will pass away from this world? How many will be born into it? Who will live and who will die? Who will reach the ripeness of age? Who will be taken before their time? Who by fire and who by water? Who by war and who by beast? Who by famine and who by drought? Who by earthquake and who by plague? Who by strangling and who by stoning? Who will rest and who will wander? Who will be tranquil and who will be troubled? Who will be calm and who will be tormented? Who will live in poverty and who in prosperity? Who will be humbled and who exalted? Tshuva utfilah utzdaka ma'avirin et roa hagzera. But through repentance, prayer, and righteous deeds, we can transcend the harshness of the decree.
Uteshuva, Tfilah, Utzedakah, Mavirin, et roa hatzera. Uteshuva,
Tefillah, utzedakah, mavirin, et roa hatzera. Read together. You are everything that we praise you for, slow to anger, quick to forgive. You do not wish the death of sinners, but urge them to return from their ways and live. Until the day of death, you wait for them. You accept them at once if they return. Since you created us, you know our impulses, and truly we are flesh and blood. We who are mortal, our origin is dust, and so is our end. We wear out our lives to get our bread like broken vessels, like withered grass, like a flower that must fade, a shadow moving on, a cloud passing by, mere dust on the wind, a dream that flies away together. But for you, ever-living sovereign, time has no limits. Your presence, unbounded by days and years, is everywhere. A glorious mystery none can decipher. Your name is worthy of you, and you are worthy of your name. And our name you have linked with yours. page 88. And we rise.
Nekadesh, Nekadesh, Nekadesh et Shimcha Ba'olam, Nekadesh et Shimcha Ba'olam, Kishem Shemakdishim Oto Bishmei Maharom. ככתוב על יד נביאיך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר.
Kadosh, 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 Kadosh,
Adir, Adirenu, Adir, Adirenu, Adonai, Adonai, Adonenu, Madir, Madir, Shimcha bechol haaretz.
Baruch kevod Adonai b'makom
Echad hu Eloheinu, hu Avinu, hu Malkeinu, hu Moshienu, vehu Yashmienu, vehu Yashmienu, verachamav lenei kol chai. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Baruch Adonai, the Dorvador, the Dorvador, Nagid Lecha, the Dorvador, the Dorvador, the Dorvador, Nagid Lecha. ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך, קדושתך, נקדיש, בשבחך אלוהינו, מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם, לעולם, לעד. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, נגיד גם לך. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, נגיד גם לך. Gadol, 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 Gadol.
Everybody can be seated, and we continue on page 92. Page 92. So in your holiness, give all creation the gift of awe. Turn our fear to reverence. Let us be witnesses of wonder, perceiving all nature as a prayer come alive. We bow to the sovereignty of your strength, the primacy of your power. We yearn for connection with all that lives, doing your will with levav shalem, wholeness of heart. Awe-inspiring is your creation, all-encompassing your transcendent name. We read together on 94. And so, in your holiness, give your people the gift of honor. Bless with praise those who praise you. Bless with hope those who seek you. Give your believers a basis for faith, true happiness for the land of Israel, true joy for Jerusalem. May the sparks of David, your servant, soon grow bright enough for us to see, a beam of light in the darkness, a promise of perfection.
And so, in your holiness, give the righteous the gift of a vision bright with joy, a world where evil has no voice, and the rule of malevolence fades like wisps of smoke. Good people everywhere will celebrate the stunning sight of arrogance gone from the earth. You and you alone, Adonai, will reign over creation upon Mount Zion, home of your presence, and in Jerusalem, a city set apart by you, as the psalmist believed. Adonai will reign eternally, your God, Zion, for all generations. Hallelujah.
Kadosh Ata V'Norah Shemecha V'Ein Eloah Mibalatecha Tagatu Vayikra Adonai Tzvaot B'Mishpat V'El HaKadosh Mikdash V'Tzedakah Baruch Atah Adonai HaMelech 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 HaKadosh.
Page 100. Through us, our sovereign, you have made your aspirations known. You loved us and chose us to be the vessels of your mitzvot. Among all the spoken tongues, you uplifted us, set us apart, brought us close to you, to serve you, and made your great holy name our calling. V'titen lanu Adonai Eloheinu, v'ahava et yom hashabbat hazeh, likdusha v'limnucha, ואת יום הכיפורים הזה, למחילה, לסליחה ולכפרה. ולמחל בו את כל עוונותינו באהבה, מקרא קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים. In your love, eternal our God, together, you have given us this Shabbat for holiness and rest, and this Yom Kippur, a day on which our wrongs are forgiven with love, a day of sacred assembly, a day to be mindful of our people's going out from Egypt. Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu ya'aleh v'yavo v'yagia v'yera'eh v'yeratzeh v'yishma v'yipaked v'yizacher zichronenu u'fikadonenu v'zichron avotenu v'imotenu v'zichron Yerushalayim ir kodshecha v'zichron kol amcha beit Yisrael lefanecha לפליטה, לטובה, חיים ולחסד, רחמים, חיים ולשלום ביום הכיפורים הזה. Together, our God and God of the generations before us, may a memory of us ascend and come before you. May it be heard and seen by you, winning your favor and reaching your awareness, together with the memory of our ancestors, the memory of your sacred city, Jerusalem, and the memory of your people, the family of Israel. May we be remembered on this Yom Kippur for deliverance, well-being, and favor, for love and compassion, for life and peace.
Zochreinu Adonai Eloheinu b'letova.
Amen.
Ufokdeinu v'livracha.
Amen.
V'hoshienu v'lechayim.
Amen.
Eternal our God, remember us.
Amen.
Be mindful of us.
Amen.
And redeem us for a life of goodness and blessing.
Amen. Continue silently now for the rest of the tefillah to the bottom of page 111. On page 113, Rabbi Levi Yitzchak of Berdyshev taught, the hands of the Kohanim were a language in themselves. Hands held out with the palms facing up indicate the desire to receive. Hands held up with the palms facing down indicate the desire to give. So when the Kohanim lifted up their hands to bless, they did not wish to pray for themselves, but only to bestow God's bounty on the people. I'm going to invite all those who are Kohanim to come to the Bima for Birkat Kohanim. All of those who are Kohanim, please come forward. Holy One, we strive to be a nation of priests, our lives consecrated to holy work. Help us to use our hands as instruments of divine service, conduits of your goodness. May blessings flow through us to our children, our friends, and all those whose lives we touch. Birkat Kohanim is on the top of page 112.
Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Barachenu b'bracha hamshuleshet הכתובה בתורה אמורה מפי כהנים עם קדושך כאמור יברכך אדוני וישמרך כן יהי רצון יאר אדוני פניו אליך וחונך כן יהי רצון יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישם לך
You know, when I tell people that I'm a synagogue board president, I get a pretty even 50-50 split of responses. It's always either, thank you so much for doing that, or it's, oh, I am so sorry. And even though those are completely opposite, my response is always the same. I love being board president. I feel so lucky to be here. We have an amazing community, warm, connected, loving, doing really innovative things. Let me tell you a little bit about how I got to be standing here today. I grew up in a very traditional conservative movement congregation in Southern California. I was a nice Jewish girl and did all the right things. I went to synagogue every Shabbat and holiday. I went to Hebrew school and became bat mitzvah when I was 13. And I continued with Hebrew and religious school 3 days a week through high school graduation. In college, I taught Hebrew school during the year and worked as a camp counselor and head staff at a Jewish summer camp, the one where Ben and I met and we got married, and where our children and nieces and nephews are now growing up. Straight line, of course. Of course, I'm board president. Not so fast. After getting married and aging out of summer camp, I couldn't find a place I fit Jewishly. Synagogue and the rituals I'd grown up with felt oppressive and frankly boring. I didn't really believe in the God that I'd grown up learning about. Showing up at synagogue we joined when we first moved to San Francisco with a baby on high holidays, we were made to feel less than welcome. That cemented my growing attitude that organized Judaism was not for me. I was angry at what I saw as the Jewish establishment, Israel, rabbis who expressed opinions about whether I counted as a Jew, my parents for all the things I perceived I'd missed by their prioritizing Jewish life. I was happy to make a brisket on the high holidays and matzah brie on Passover and let that be that. I was becoming what my friend called a food Jew, and I wanted zero to do with any synagogue. But then, as they do, our kids started expressing their opinions and ruined everything. Max and Annie were hungry for more than just the food part of being Jews. They wanted to be connected to other Jewish kids. They were fascinated by Hebrew and wanted to learn, so we started shul shopping. BIJ was the first community we walked into, a family Shabbat. And just as I had when I was small, the children gathered on the bima and sang the Shema and other prayers and songs. Before we even left that evening, our kids were hooked. The other parents were warm and friendly to us, so we joined and enrolled our kids in Sunday school, but I was still not interested. We were the quintessential drop-and-go parents, mostly loving BIJ for the 3 hours of kid-free time it gave us every Sunday. Slowly, things started to shift. I didn't feel connected to BIJ, but I finally started to realize that the reason I didn't know anyone here was because I never walked in the doors. We started staying for tefillah on Sunday mornings and then coming to a family Shabbat potluck dinner. We bonded with one family, then another, and I made truly dear friends. I began to help out with small tasks in the office and learned more about what a forward-thinking, innovative, action-oriented community we really are. I started to fall in love with BIJ little by little. And in taking the time to listen to Rabbi Gottlieb's sermons and teaching, I eventually learned that being a Jew didn't have to be about following every strict rule, doing everything the way my parents and grandparents did, believing in the big, male, bearded God in the sky. As Jews have done since the beginning, I could take what I'd learned in all my years of school and interpret it to become the Jew that made sense to me. My mind was blown, and my heart softened. So when Josh Goodman called one day and asked me to join the Board of Trustees a few years ago, I felt like it was my time to jump in and play a different role in our community. I became part of the board and smaller teams on it, and began doing work that felt significant. As I spent more time on the board and more time working more closely with small groups of it, the BIJ started feeling more like it was mine. As I spent more time in large and small meetings with Rabbi Gottlieb, it truly sank in that not only was he BIJ's rabbi, he was my rabbi. As other board members and I worked on projects together, we continued the long tradition before us of making BIJ a community that evolves and grows stronger. In that process, the ties between me and the people I was working with got stronger. We became friends and then family. I see how what I give to BIJ comes back to me and enriches my life, and that inspires me to continue to deepen my connections here. One thing I love most about BIJ is what a forward-thinking community we are. We have a history of innovating. How on earth did a Reformed congregation and a conservative congregation merge in the mid-20th century and not just live, but thrive? It's almost unbelievable. But we did exactly that. And while we now only have an affiliation with the Reform movement, we continue many of the traditions that have been dear to our community for decades. The Southside Jewish Collaborative, envisioned and inspired by Rabbi Gottlieb and Josh Goodman, is on the cutting edge of what's working in Jewish life today. Our holiday observances are richer and more varied. Our B3 religious school thrives, and we learn not only from teachers, but from our relationships with the B'nai Emunah community. It's definitely a sacred partnership. We welcomed Or Shalom into our building, and while it can sometimes be a challenge to share space, our community's ties grow and deepen every year. We benefit from the teachings of 4 very different, very wise rabbis, though we're a small synagogue of under 200 families. The collaborative is a model for synagogue life in North America, evidence of which is that Rabbi Gottlieb was asked to be part of a panel at the URJ's biennial in Boston this year, discussing our collaborations with the rest of the Reform movement of North America. And I felt so much pride when I attended the URJ's Shite seminar for new board presidents this spring in Atlanta. When I told people, literally from everywhere on the North American continent, that I was the incoming president of BIJ in San Francisco, so many people knew who we are and the work that we're doing to strengthen not only our community, but the Bay Area Jewish community as a whole through the Southside Jewish Collaborative. Our strategic planning team is working tirelessly on the idea, outlined at our annual meeting in June, to add affordable senior housing to our site. This is something that the Bay Area Jewish community and community at large is desperately in need of. We'll be able to meet the needs of our community in a whole new way. We're innovating and creating another new model of what Jewish community life is in the 21st century, again, while keeping the deep roots of BIJ strong. Based on the enthusiasm generated at a recent Friday night feast, we'll also be working more closely with the City of San Francisco to be part of the Neighborhood Empowerment Network. This team builds strong community connections in neighborhoods, with the end result being increased capacity to care for ourselves and our neighbors during any potential disaster situation. And as we've seen recently, as far back as Katrina and as close as the hurricanes this month, those who are connected to their communities fare enormously better in times of crisis. We are the only Jewish community to hold a seat on the NEN's Leadership Council, and we'll be working together to bring other congregations into the group. This not only helps our neighbors during times of crisis, which people have told me is a priority of our membership, but it also ties us more closely to the city government and thought leaders. These things, along with the work of our Tikkun Olam team, Care and Concern team, and the work that so many of you are doing day to day here to help us care for our small and large community, enrich us as well. I know we all consume the news in one form or another to differing degrees from varying sources. And when we look back at the year 5777, it's natural to feel overwhelmed and disheartened. I'm sure I don't need to list every natural disaster, violent incident, racist or anti-Semitic act, or politically divisive issue. But when I walk in the doors of BIJ, it seems almost like a different world. The troubles of everyday life are still here. We see them, we feel them, but the worship, study, work, and celebrating we do together has created a truly sacred space, one that we bring with us wherever we gather together. We're changing the world with what we do here every day, in small ways and big. I see us as a light of positivity, shining on each of us here, and also out to San Francisco and beyond. More than any idea or program, the community we've built here and continue to build is what inspires me the most about BIJ. People willing to give of their time, expertise, and money to keep our building whole and functioning, but more than that, to keep each other whole and functioning. Josh Goodman used to talk about this place being an extension of his home. I feel similarly in that you are now all my extended family. The same people I mentioned at the beginning of my remarks are in awe of how strong the relationships between our people are. Board meetings and annual membership meetings are filled with love, respect, and honesty. We hold tight to each other, prop each other up when needed, and celebrate each other with regularity. You might not realize this, but this is not normal. We are exquisitely special. These are just some of the reasons that I choose to support the BIJ community with my time and my money. And in the spirit of righteous giving part of tefillah, teshuvah, and tzedakah that you've heard Ricky and the choir chant about over these high holy days, these are the reasons I ask you to do the same. Please join the Board of Trustees and myself in supporting BIJ through our annual fund. I'm sure you've heard before that membership commitments don't cover all the vital, essential work we do here to create and sustain our community. And the stronger our financial position, the more we can innovate, reach out, and reach back in. If every one of us here today gives what we can, we'll be able not only to meet our internal needs, but to look to the future of our children and our greater community. Please take an envelope from the seat near you and tear the tab for the amount you'd like to give. Please make sure that your name is on the card and return it to the confidential envelope, and then you can pass it to any aisle and a board member will come by and pick it up from you. So take a moment to do that, please.
Avir harim kayayim, v'reach oranim, nisaver v'acharbayim, im kol ha'amonim. Uvtar d'matilam v'evel, shluya v'chavoma, ha'ir asher b'gad yoshevet, u'beliba. ירושלים של זהב ושל נחושת ושל אור, אבל לכל שיריים אני גיבור. ירושלים של זהב ושל נחושת ושל אור, אבל לכל שיריים אני גיבור.
The olive trees that stand in silence upon the hills of time, to hear the voices of the city as bells of evening chime. The shofar sounding from the temple to call the world to prayer. A shepherd pauses in the valley and peace is everywhere. ירושלים של זהב ושל נחושת ושל אור, הלא לכל שיריים אני גיבור. ירושלים של זהב ושל נחושת ושל אור, הלא לכל שיריים אני גיבור.
I wish you all Gmar Chatima Tova, an inscription for a year of good, sweetness, and light. And I offer you my profound gratitude for being part of the BIJ community and for making being board president such a joy on a daily basis. Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
Page 114. Sim shalom, tov v'uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha. Baruchenu Avinu Kulanu Echad Be'or Panecha. Kiver Panecha Nahatata Lanu Adonai Eloheinu. Torah Chaim, Yahavat Chesed. Utzdaka uveracha rachamim v'chaim v'shalom v'rachamim v'chaim v'shalom v'tov b'einecha levarech et amecha Yisrael b'chol leit v'chol shah yishlemecha.
Sefer Hayim Beracha v'Shalom U'chana Tova Nizacher v'nikater lefanecha Ma'om v'nevocha Ben Yisrael L'chaim tovim U'shalom Baruch atah Adonai Oseh Shalom.
We take a moment for silent prayer. As we go into this moment of silence, we reflect on the poem on page 117, My Hope is That You Hear. I know that it holds little, so they told me. Even so, I want to hope again for this, that you hear now, I hope. My hope is like a hind waiting. Careful not to embrace it. Break one dry shoot of a tree and it goes. Would we have the strength for another beginning? I hope and am that hope.
Yehu ratzon imreisi, v'hegyon libi lefanecha. Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri v'goali. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri v'goali, Adonai tzuri. Begoel.
On Rosh Hashanah morning, I suggested that one way to respond to the issues facing our country was to imagine what the policy agenda of the Hebrew National Party might be, using the voice of Torah and her teachings as the foundation for that policy and for a platform of ideas that might bring about a more unified and civil society. In the course of preparing that review, I spent a lot of time thinking about walls, for reasons which shouldn't come as any surprise for you. I found, however, that there was a great deal more to learn from Judaism's ideas of walls than the question of whether or not they might provide a useful solution to the problem of illegal immigration. And so this morning, I want to share with you some things I have learned about walls and what they might teach us about the teshuvah work that we have been engaged in for the past 10 days, the conclusion of which will become ever more pressing as this day moves toward nightfall. In Hebrew, there are 3 different words that mean wall. The first is kir, and that is the kind of wall that you find in your house or here in the synagogue, a wall that has been built to divide one room from another in the private sphere. The second kind of wall is called choma, and that is a wall built in the public sphere that keeps things and people from passing through. And the third kind of wall is the foundation wall of the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, the Holy Western Wall, called the Kotel. These 3 words, kir, choma, and kotel, describe 3 kinds of construction intended to stop someone or something from blurring or moving into some other space. Interestingly, the word kir is also used to describe the barrier walls that are sometimes created between human beings. My guess is that kir is used because this kind of barrier occurs in interpersonal relationships which are in our own private sphere. We tend to construct these kinds of walls when we feel hurt or shamed or violated in some way that results in our decision to cut our ties and make a big circle around the offending person in order to avoid contact or to shut them out entirely. It is this kind of interpersonal dividing wall that is a particular challenge for us on Yom Kippur. By way of contrast, there is only one word in Hebrew for bridge, and that is gesher. A gesher is something which connects one thing to another. The distinction between a wall and a bridge has to do with their purpose. The purpose of a wall is to stop something and create a barrier, and the purpose of a bridge is to reach across the barrier and make a connection. I find it interesting that there are more words for wall in Hebrew than there are for bridge. Sir Isaac Newton said that we build too many walls and not enough bridges. Indeed, bridges are less common. It seems more precious and more difficult to build one than it is to build a wall. And perhaps that's why we have so many more walls than bridges. Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav, taught us honestly about bridges. He said, Kol ha'olam kulo gesher tsar ma'od. The whole world is but a narrow bridge. The ikar lo lefachet klal. And the main thing is not to be afraid. He might have said, if you don't like your brother or sister, build a wall and keep them out. He might have said, if there's a disagreement between you and another, cut off the communication and you will have a wall. Instead, Rabbi Nachman acknowledges that life is a bridge stretching between that which we know and that which we do not know, or between the place where we are and the place that we need to get to. A bridge is narrow, which means that it is often difficult to negotiate. Staying engaged, staying curious, stretching, communicating can indeed be intimidating. But the main thing is not to be afraid and to know that the very act of bridge building provides a kind of security far greater than that provided by construction of a wall. The story is told of two brothers who lived on adjoining farms. They fell into conflict, the first serious rift between them in 40 years of farming side by side, sharing machinery and trading labor and goods as needed without a hitch, until their long collaboration fell apart. It began with a small misunderstanding and it grew into a major difference. And finally it exploded into an exchange of bitter words followed by a wall of silence. One morning, there was a knock on the door of the older brother's home. He opened it to find a man with a carpenter's toolbox. "I'm looking for a few days' work," the man said. "Perhaps you have a few small jobs here and there that I might help you with." "Yes," said the older brother, "I do have a job for you. Look across the creek at that farm. That's my neighbor. In fact, it's my younger brother. In years past, there was a meadow between us, but he took his bulldozer to the river levee, and now there's a creek between us. He may have done this to spite me, but I'll go him one better. See that pile of lumber curing by the barn? I want you to build me a fence, an 8-foot fence, so I won't have to look at his place anymore." The carpenter said, "I think I understand the situation. Show me the nails in the post hole, digger, and I'll do the job." The older brother had to go to the nearby town for supplies, so he helped the carpenter get the materials ready, and then he was off for a week. The carpenter worked hard all that day, measuring and sawing and nailing, and then he began his work. About a week later, when the farmer returned at sunset, the carpenter had just finished his job. The farmer's eyes opened wide, and his jaw dropped. There was no wall there at all. It was a bridge, stretching from one side of the creek to the other. It was a fine piece of work, handrails and all. And there was his neighbor, his younger brother, coming across, his hand outstretched. "You're quite a man to build this bridge after all that has been said and done between us." The two brothers stood at each end of the bridge, and then they met in the middle, taking each other's hand. Then they turned to see the carpenter hoist his toolbox on his shoulder. "No, wait," they said. "Stay a few more days. We have a lot of other projects for you." "I'd love to stay on," the carpenter said as he walked away, "but I have many more bridges to build." So the question this morning is, what are the bridges that each of us have to build this year? What are the walls that we have built? The relationships that we have caused or allowed to become estranged by disagreement, anger, resentment, envy, and enmity? How can we begin to deconstruct the walls or build bridges over them? I want to suggest a formula focusing on 3 midot, that is 3 character traits: trust, generosity, and loving kindness. In Hebrew, bitachon, nedivut, and chesed. Practice of Musar, based on the teachings of Rabbi Israel Salanter, who lived in the 17th century in Lithuania, encourage us to focus on these three, among other essential character traits, in order to find a more balanced and peaceful existence, to live in harmony with our neighbors and the earth, and to strengthen our ethical behavior and our spiritual life. Let's begin with trust. For indeed, it is hard to even imagine trusting someone who has betrayed a confidence or lied or exhibited a moral failure or violation or simply displayed a knowing indifference in a moment of need. In such a situation, trusting can be an enormous challenge for us. But trust is the option that stands opposite to our reactivity. We call up trust to reset our perspective. When we cultivate trust, we inevitably loosen the grip that suspicion, doubt, cynicism, and mistrust hold on our hearts. And we make it possible to build bridges of healing and reconciliation. Trust in God, too, is an essential component of inner peace and reconciliation. When the world itself seems to conspire against us with war, disease, and natural disasters, and we wonder how it is that God would allow the world to operate in such a way. Here, bitachon comes to bring us balance against our uncertainty and our fears of the unknown. Alan Moranis, in his book, Everyday Holiness, writes, "A heart cannot hold both fear and trust at the same time. Fear stifles and censors, to the detriment of ourselves and the world. Love presupposes trust. You cannot love those you cannot trust. Cultivating trust, love becomes possible. By activating trust in God, we transform ourselves into fearless, loving beings. Bitachon is the inner attitude that respects that whatever is happening in our lives is nothing more or less than the curriculum that God gives us. Trust in God gives rise to tranquility and fearlessness that will make you a better friend, spouse, parent, worker, citizen, and just about every other role you play in your life. Second midah is nedivut, or generosity. And from Jewish teaching and practice, we are familiar with two disparate types of generosity. One is tzedakah, that is required or obligated giving, such as tithing or other prescribed acts that come from a commitment to righteous giving, whether or not the heart is moved to act. Second is truma, the giving that comes because your heart is so moved that you can do nothing less. Truma means gift. It is the gift of the heart, and it is the second kind of generosity that is captured in the midah of nedivut, or shall I say, nedivut halev, the spiritual willingness or the generosity of the heart. Regarding nedivut, Moranis writes, God is the model for this sort of giving. God needs nothing, and yet gives abundantly. In this way, God is intrinsically a giver. A person can also be a giver by intrinsic nature. Most of us would need to train ourselves to reach this level of giving, but it is possible. Then being generous becomes who and what we are. The very act of giving itself ultimately makes us more charitable, merciful, and loving. Love flows in the direction of giving. The human heart is naturally inclined to give. When our hearts are closed or walled off, we are suffering from a spiritual ailment that the Musar teachers call timtum halev, meaning a blocked or a barricaded heart, literally a stopped up heart. Instead of being open, flowing, and generous, we are sluggish, and unwilling at our core. There may be walls around your own heart. The key is to be on the lookout for rationalizations that exempt you from being generous. With the goal of protecting your heart, you will tell yourself all the sound reasons that you must turn away. The question for this Yom Kippur day is, can we open our hearts and be generous with those from whom we are feeling estranged? Can generosity of the heart be a bridge for healing and reconciliation? The third bridge-building trait is chesed, or loving kindness. Rabbi Chaim Zaitchik teaches in the name of Rabbi Nosson Tzvi that this means being careful of another's honor and dignity, helping others, having one's heart overflow with love and kindness, utilizing every opportunity to benefit others. Above all, it means that one should greet his fellow with a pleasant countenance, because it makes the other feel good and binds people together in friendship. In Pirkei Avot, we learn that the world stands on three things: Torah, Avodah, and Gemilut Chasadim. Torah, the service of God, and acts of loving kindness. And the fact that the rabbis made loving kindness one of the three pillars on which the world stands should be a clear sign for us of the importance of this character trait. Alan Moranis writes, "To my ear, and maybe to yours too, loving kindness suggests being nice. Perhaps that's precisely what the world does stand on. And the very simplicity and innocence of being nice is the strength we can find in chesed. Most of us are vulnerable to being seduced by visions of ourselves and our potential that are dressed up with drama and importance, while it is undeniable that this entire world would be transformed beyond recognition if we were suddenly to just be nicer to one another. We learn, however, that not all people are moved to acts of chesed in the same way. Our Musar teachers point out that some people's chesed is responsive to a particular need, while others will search out opportunities to act with loving kindness in ways that will sustain still others. Concerning the latter, our rabbis taught, the way of those who do chesed is to run after the poor. Moranis continues, Abraham was the paragon of what it means to pursue chesed, because the Torah tells us that he actually ran to do kind acts for others. When 3 strangers happened by his tent, Abraham invited them to stay. He offered them bread, water, and a little rest. And then, quoting the text, Abraham rushed to Sarah's tent and said, "Hurry, 3 measures of the finest flour, knead it and make rolls." Abraham ran to the cattle to choose a tender, choice calf. He gave it to a young man who rushed to prepare it. The Torah uses verbs meaning run and hurry a total of 4 times in relating this brief story. Abraham didn't sit passively, waiting for a chance to do good, but charged after the opportunity to render kindness to others. Our tradition gives us many examples of acts of loving kindness that we might perform, reminding us that carrying out these acts is a way that we can actualize living in God's image. Rabbi Yeshayahu Siegel Horowitz teaches that a day should not pass without acts of loving kindness, either with one's body, money, or soul. Clothing the naked, visiting the sick, comforting the bereaved, and burying the dead. These acts, once the province of the community which created communal organizations to ensure that they were taken care of, Karen and Me, Bikur Cholim societies, and Chevra Kadishas. These have become professionalized in our day, left to clergy and federation agency staff members and such. But for some communities, like our BIJ community, These kinds of acts of loving kindness remain the cornerstone because chesed breaks down the walls of separation and builds the bridges that bind people to one another and give the community its strength, and I would add, its soul. Hillel taught in his famous maxim, Im ein ani li mili, if I am not for myself, who will be for me? And in many ways, this Yom Kippur day is about being for ourselves, searching the innermost depths of our being for those things that we can do or change in order to bring closure to the year that has passed, to ease the severity of our judgment, and to enrich our souls and strengthen our community in the year that is beginning. But we cannot do this without paying heed to the rest of Hillel's teaching. Uchshani la'atzmi ma'ani. If I am for myself alone, what am I? The isolation that comes from building walls, whether physical, spiritual, or emotional, causes us to think of ourselves alone. And then, who are we? What have we become? Trust, generosity, and loving kindness offer the way back from isolation to connection. They are worthy of our attention and our energy in completing our tshuva work throughout the course of this day. Hillel completes his teaching with this charge, the imlo achshav ematai, if not now, when? Well, my friends, now is the time. Now is the when. May we find the strength and the courage to look deeply inside ourselves to find the right path, often the most difficult, the narrow path. May we be blessed to feel God's closeness in our most vulnerable moments, acknowledging our realities and confronting our truths. Shiviti Adonai lenegdi tamid. God is always there, present, sitting by my side. May we reach out across the divide to discover that instead of walls, we have marshaled the forces of trust, generosity, and loving kindness to build bridges of holiness and rare beauty. Kain Yehi Ratzon.
Kain Yehi Ratzon.
We're going to return to our Machzor, page 122, where we'll find Seder Kriyat Torah. And I want to invite to the Bima Stacy Herrera and her mom, Dolores Kelly, to open the Ark. Myra Herpy, Claire Mikowski, Miriam Menzel, and Lori Smith to carry Sifrei Torah. Page 122.
Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum v'Chanun, Erech Apayim, Rav Chesed ve'emet, Notzer Chesed la'alafim, Nosei Avon, Rav Pesha, V'chatav Nakeh. Rachum v'Chanun, Erech Apayim, Rav Chesed ve'emet, Notzer Chesed la'alafim, Nosei Avon, Rav Pesha, V'chatav Nakeh. Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum v'Chanun, Erech Apayim, Rav Chesed ve'emet, Notzer Chesed la'alafim, Nosei Avon, Rav Pesha, V'chatav Nakeh. Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Koleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu Lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, Chamol Aleinu, Ri'ol Aleinu. Tapeinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Odleinu, B'Sefer Chaim Tovim. Avinu Malkeinu, Chodesh Aleinu, Chodesh Aleinu, Shana Tova. Shema Koleinu, Shema Koleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Malayatenu Bibirchotecha. Avinu Malkeinu, Arem Keren Meshichecha. Avinu Malkeinu, Nal Teshivenu Rekam Nufanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, Kabel Rachamim Uvratzon et Tfilateinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Aseh Imanu, Liman Shmecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu,
Avinu Malkeinu, Petach lanu Sharei Shamayim, Nitfilatenu. Avinu Malkeinu, Shema V'Rachem, U'Sperachem,
Avinu Malkeinu, Malkeinu, U'Sperachem, Aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Koleinu, Shema Koleinu, Shema Koleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Yemanu Masi, Aseimanu. Avinu Malkeinu, Aneinu, Aneinu, Yemanu Masi.
Are our little ones here, Neil? Are our little ones here? Okay. We're ready for them. 1 minute. We can wait. Here they come. Don't worry, it's worth waiting for. We just didn't have enough Sifrei Torah. Page 126.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonai, Kadosh v'norah Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonai, Kadosh v'norah Shemo.
Gadlu Adonai iti, u'neromema Shemo yachdav.
Adonai Yerushalayim, Mitzion, Mitzion, Tetzei Torah.
No, I'm going to take that Torah out. You can help me undress it. Pull these off first. Take that off. Just put it on that Take this. Put it over on top of the Okay. Now we're gonna put those back in there. You can go sing if you want. We can close the door. Whatever you want.
Eile Tanga, Tanga Lili,
Usana ve'anga titave. Eile Tanga, Tanga Lili, Usana ve'anga titave.
Yismechu Hashamayim,
Yismechu Hashamayim, Tzadeh ha'aretz. Yismechu Hashamayim. Is that when you undress?
Yismechu
Huh? Oh. Can I kiss your Torah? Yiram hayam, yiram hayam, yiram hayam, yiram hayam, yiram hayam, kumalo. Al Shlosha, Gar Hatima Tova. May you be inscribed in the good book. We're great here. Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha, Shlosha Devarim, Allah, Allah, Amen. Ala Torah, Ve'ala Avodah, Ve'al Gemilut Hasadim. Ala Torah, Ve'ala Avodah, Ve'al Gemilut Hasadim. What's that? Oh, yeah. So, Mazal Tov on your honor, and may you be inscribed in the Book of Life this year for a healthy one. All right, you can stand.
How's it going this year?
Great.
All right,
Yeah.
good. I hope it's a
Mazal
great one.
Tov in person.
Thank you. My honey's here.
Oh, good. I want to meet him.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, you four guys, hold it.
Rabbi has a special blessing for you.
Now just stand up. Stand up, stand up, stand
Stand up right here. Can you stand on the bottom step?
up. Come underneath. Come underneath.
Okay. Man, you get a special blessing.
Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, our God and God of our ancestors. We pray that you will bless these your children, that they might come to learn, to love, study of Torah. May these Sifrei Torah that they hold represent for them a life of learning, a life of goodness, a life of tzvot. May they always listen for the sound of your voice. May the words that they come to know of your Torah teach them the values, the lessons that will enrich their lives. And may you be with them through this year and always. And let us all say, Amen. There you go. Everybody can be seated. You can follow the reading of the Torah in the Shema Kolenu Machzors that are in your book, in your pews. And the Torah reading begins on page 232. For the first reading of Torah, we invite as our Torah reader Jeff Kalman, and for the Aliyah, Natalie Melendez-Ortiz. Ta'amod, Oriel, Abraham V'Sarah, Ta'amod, Rishonah. Ishish. Yes, Ishish.
Baruch de Adonai Hambora.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambora Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Hambora Olam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Barak Banu Mikol Hamim Benatan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah. Amen.
No. Vayedaber Adonai El Moshe. Vayedaber Adonai El Moshe. Acharei Mod Shnei Bnei Aharon Bekorbatam Lifnei Adonai Vayamutu Vayomer Adonai El Moshe Daber El Aharon Achicha Ve'al Yavo V'chol Et El HaKodesh Mibeit LaParochet El Pnei HaKaporet Asher Al Ha'aron V'lo Yamud Ki Be'anan Era'e Al HaKaporet V'zot Yavo Aharon El HaKodesh Befar Ben Bakar Lechatat Vayil Leolam.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Natan Lanu Torah Emet V'Hayeh Natan Bechotenu Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah. Amen.
Though I don't usually share the private blessings, I did include in the blessing this morning a special prayer for Natalie's mom in Puerto Rico and for all those in Puerto Rico who are suffering from the effects of the hurricane. We hope that their recovery to lives of goodness and well-being will come soon, and that they will be safe in the weeks ahead. For the second reading of Torah, we invite Lori Gans as Torah reader and Simcha Greenspan for the Aliyah. Ta'amod, Simcha, Bat Eliezer, Ufreda, Ta'amod, Ashniya.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamborach. Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai Hamborach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher batar banu mikol hamim no v'natoran latan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai Notein HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Ketone bad kodesh yuvash umiknese vad yehiyu abisaro uvavnet vad yakor umitnefet vad yitznov bigde kodesh hem berachat b'mayim episaro levasham ume'et adat b'nei Yisrael yikach shnei se'irei izim lechatat ve'ayil echad le'olah v'hikriv Aharon et par hahatat asher lo v'chiper be'ado uvad beito.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam not v'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai notein HaTorah.
Amen.
For the third Aliyah, we invite as readers Elias Albertson and Johanna Gendelman, and for the Aliyah, Anne Fuchs Chesney and John Fuchs Chesney. Ya'amdu Chanat bat Yosef Itka, Yoel ben Yocheved, Ya'amdu Shlishi.
I know that is.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamborach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai notein HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. V'lakach et shnei hashirim V'hamid otam lifnei Adonai petach ohel moed. V'natan Aharon al shnei hasirim gorelot gorel echad l'Adonai v'goral echad la'azazel lehikriv Aharon et hasair asher Allah ve'alav hagoral l'Adonai le'asahu hatat.
Where's your place?
Ah. Yeah. V'hashair asher Allah Allah hagara la'azazel ya'ametcha lifnei Adonai lechaper alav Lishalach oto la'azazel hamidbara vehikriv Aharon et par hachatat asher lo v'hiper ba'ado v'chad beito v'shachat et par hachatat asher lo.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
For the fourth reading of Torah, we invite Yuval Koren as the Torah reader and Beth Edwards and Jeff Rothman as for the Aliyah. Ya'amdu Luke ben Abraham Sarah, Gabriel ben Michael Moshe Chaya. Ya'amdu Revi'i. Yuval and Gabriel are both going to read.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamborah.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborah Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bahar banu mikol ha'olamim, ונתן לנו את תורתו, ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
ולקח מעל המחתה תעלה אש מעל המזבח לפני אדוני וכופניו קטורת סמים רכה והביא עם בית לפרוכת ונתן את הכפורת על הקטורת על האש לפני אדוני לכיסה ענן הקטורת את הכפורת אשר על העדות ולא ימות ולקח מדם הפר והיזה באצבעו על פני הכפורת קדמה ולפני הכפורת יזה 7 פעמים מן הדם באצבעו ושחט את שעיר החטאת אשר לעם והביא את דמו אל מבית לפרוכת ועשה את דמו כאשר עשה לדם הפר והיזה אותו על הכפורת ולפני הכפורת וכיפר על הקודש מטומאות בני ישראל ומפשעיהם לכל חטאותם וכן יעשה לאוהל מועד השוכן איתם בתוך טומאותם בכל אדם לא יהיה לאוהל מועד בבואו לכפר בקודש עד צאתו וכיפר בעדו ובעד ביתו ובעד כל קהל ישראל.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטו ביתו ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
אמן.
The fifth reading of Torah. We invite Yvonne and Stella Morvan to read the Torah and Vivian Morvan for the Aliyah. Ta'amod aviva b'kochava Ta'amod Chamishi
Baruch Adonai Hamvorah.
Baruch atah harach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torto. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayatsa el hamizbeah asher lifnei Adonai mikaper alai velaka midam hapar umidam hasair venatan al karnot hamizbeah saviv v'hizah alive min adam be'etzba'o sheva pe'amim v'ticharo v'kitsho mitumot b'nei Yisrael v'hilah mikaper et hakodesh ve'et ohel moed ve'et hamizbeah v'hikriv et hasair hechai.
V'samach Aharon et shetei yadav al rosh hasair. Hamik. Hi. You know, I need my glasses on.
You want?
Thank you.
I can't help you though.
Can't do that then. It's okay. I've got him here. Oh, and now I'm gonna be lost. Let's start that over, shall we? V'samach Aharon et shetei yadav al rosh hasair. Ha-hai. V'hitfadav alav et kol avonot b'nei Yisrael uve'kol pishehem lechol hatotam v'natan otam al rosh hasair v'shilah v'yad ish iti hamidbara v'nasa hasair alav et kol avonotam el eretz gezerah v'shilach et hatzair bamidbar uva Aharon el ohel moed ufashat el bigdei habad asher lavash bevo'o el hakodesh hanicham sham berachatz et besaro v'mayim v'makom kadosh v'lavash et bigdei bigadav uyatsa uvasa et olato ve'et olat ha'am v'kiper bigado ve'ada hayam ha'am. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen.
sixth reading of Torah, we invite J.B. Morgenstern to read, and for the Aliyah, Alex Duchovny and Sarah Glue. Ya'amdu, Yesha, and Yitzchak, Sarah, Bato, Ya'amdu, Shishi.
Baruch Hu es Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Barach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bakar Banu Mikol Hamim Benatan Lanu Et Torato Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. ואת חלב החטאת יקטיר המזבח, והמשלח את השעיר לעזאזל, יכבס בגדיו, ורחץ את בשרו במים, ואחרי כן יבוא אל המחנה. ואת פר החטאת, ואת שעיר החטאת, אשר הובא את דמה לכפר בקודש, יוציא אל מחוץ למחנה, ושרפו באש את אורותם ואת בשרם ואת פרשם. והשורף אותם יכבס בגדיו, ורחץ את בשרו במים, ואחרי כן יבוא אל המחנה. והייתה לכם לחוקת עולם, בחודש השביעי, בעשור לחודש, תענו את נפשותיכם, בכל מלאכה לא תעשו, האזרח והגר הגר בתוככם, כי ביום הזה יכפר עליכם לטהר אתכם מכל חטאותיכם לפני אדוני תטהרו.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Natan Lanu Torah Emet V'Chaye Olam Natah B'Tokeinu. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
For the seventh Aliyah, we invite Ann Morgenstern and Jeff Coleman. Ya'amdu, Hannah, Bat Mosen Leib, Miriam, Shlomo, Ben Yosef, Ephraim. Ya'amdu, Shi'i.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Barach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'Natan Lanu Et Torato
Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen.
Shabbat Shabbaton hi lachem, ve'initem et nafshotechem, chukat olam. V'chiper hakohen, asher yimshach oto, v'asher yimalei et yado, לכהן תחת אביו, ולבש את בגדי הבד, בגדי הקודש, וכיפר את מקדש הקודש, ואת אוהל מועד, ואת המזבח יכפר, ועל הכהנים, ועל כל עם הקהל יכפר. והתזות לכם לחוקת עולם, לכפר על בני ישראל מכל חטאותם אחת בשנה, ויעש כאשר ציווה אדוני את משה.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen.
Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak Yaakov, Ve'imotenu Sarah Rivka Rachel V'Leah Hu Yivrech et Cholim. We ask God's blessing upon all those who are sick and in need of healing. We include in our blessing this morning all of those members of our congregation who are not able to be with us here in the Beit Tfilah, who are joining the congregation by attending, following the service on the live stream from their homes. We wish them a refuah shlema, a complete healing, and look forward to their return to the Beit Tfilah. We're also thinking, especially in the congregation on this Shabbat, of Joseph Anisimov, Ron Appel, Bill Ehrlich, Beverly Flom, Josh Goodman, Rose Greenspan, Myra Herpy, Sandra Himmelstein, Irene Johnston, Natalie Melendez Ortiz, Boris Pashnikov, Suzanne Reynard, Ben and Ann Schweitzer, Shirley Zeff, Jenkins Buxton, John Cantor, Claudia Chernetsky, Howard Evans, Luz Girona, Eileen Carroll, Laura Levy, CJ Shelley, Ali Sepulveda, and Fred Silberman. If there are others you know who are sick and in need of healing and you'd like them to be included in the bracha, please call out their names loud enough for those around you to hear their names so that we can fill the Beit Tfilah with the names of those to whom we direct this blessing.
David Nelson, Julie Steiner.
Michael Weingart. Kadosh Baruch Hu Yavrech Otam, V'yitein Lahem Refuah Shlema, Refuat HaNefesh, Refuat HaGuf. We pray that the Holy Blessed One will send to each of these people whom we've named and to all those who are in need of healing or complete healing. And let us all say,
Amen.
Mishberach Avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Mishberach Imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, Verachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Mishaberach Avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Mishaberach Imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, Verachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Bless us with a vision for tomorrow. Help us to reach out to those in pain. May the warmth of friendship ease our sorrow. Give us courage, give us faith, show us the way. Mishaberach Avotenu, Mishaberach Imotenu. Hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well.
I'd like to invite to the Bima the first Hagban Glila, Risa Salak Combe and Steve Combe. Yamdu, Amadia, Hagolelet.
Torah asher sama Moshe lifnei b'nei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe.
Standing, we have a Chatzi Kaddish. Yitkadaha v'yitkadash shenei rabba.
Amen.
Yalma divrach shirutei v'yamlich malchutei.
V'chayechu v'yomecha v'chayechu beit Yisrael b'gama b'gama u'bizman kariv.
V'yimeru.
Amen. Yishmei Rabba Mevorach Le'olam u'lam me'almaya Yitbarach
Yitbarach וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה
Bריחו.
להילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה.
תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירם בעלמה.
ויאמרו
Amen.
everybody can be seated. For the Aliyah from Maftir, we invite Neil Bronstein. Ya'amod, Mendel Nachman, Ben Aharon, Ya'amod, Maftir.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Hamim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai
Shemo.
Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Amen. וידבר אדוני אל משה לאמור, בעשור לחודש השביעי הזה, יום כיפורים הוא מקרא קודש יהיה לכם, ועיניתם את נפשותיכם, והקרבתם אישל אדוני, וכל מלאכה לא תעשו בעצם היום הזה, כי יום כיפורים הוא לכפר עליכם לפני אדוני אלוהיכם, כי כל הנפש אשר לא תאונה בעצם היום הזה, ונכרתה מעמך, וכל הנפש אשר תעשה כל מלאכה בעצם היום הזה, ועבדתי את הנפש ההיא מקרב עמך, כל מלאכה לא תעשו, חוקת עולם לדורותיכם בכל מושבותיכם. שבת שבתון הוא לכם, ועיניתם את נפשותיכם, בתשעה לחודש בערב, מערב עד ערב, תשבתו שבתכם.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Natan Lanu Torah Emet V'chei Olam Nitah B'tochenu. Baruch Atah Adonai
Shemo.
Noten HaTorah.
Amen. And now we call as Hagba Apollo Girona, and as Glila, Carla Lang, and Deborah Schweitzer. Ya'amdu Hamagbia V'Hagoliot.
Zodat Torah, Moshe, Lifnei B'nei Yisrael, Al Pi Adonai, B'yad Moshe. Over there. Have a seat. Adonai, Yerushalayim, Mitzion, take Torah. Oh, wait a second.
Yerushalayim, Yerushalayim, Yerushalayim.
Zion, take Torah.
Udvar Adonai, Yerushalayim. Ki Mitzion,
Can you tie it in the front of this side?
Torah.
Yerushalayim, go. What you want to help dress? Hey, Carla, I'll take this one. There you go. Now pick it up. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Good job. Perfect. Beautiful. Yasher Koach, Carla. Yasher Koach. Yasher Koach, Deborah. All right, I'm going to put it on the stand over here now. And Yasher Koach to you.
Michelle Siegel is our Haftarah reader. You can follow the blessings beginning on page 239 and the text of the Haftarah on pages 240 and 241. You can be seated.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratza v'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo ובנביאי האמת והצדק. ואמר סולו סולו פנו דרך, הרימו מכשול מדרך עמי.
Going to continue in English. So says he who inhabits eternity, whose name is holy. I dwell on high in holiness, yet with the contrite and the lowly in spirit, reviving the spirits of the lowly, reviving the hearts of the contrite. For I will not always contend, I will not be angry forever. I who make spirits flag also create the breath of life. For his sinful greed I was angry,
I struck him and turned away in my wrath. Though he stubbornly follows the way of his heart, I note how he fares and will heal him. I will guide him and comfort all who mourn with him. It shall be well, well with the far and the near, says the Lord, and I will heal him. But the wicked are like the troubled sea who cannot rest, whose waters toss up mire and mud. There is no safety, says my God, for the wicked. Cry aloud, without restraint. Raise your voice like a ram's horn. Declare to my people their transgression, to the house of Jacob their sin. To be sure, they seek me daily, eager to learn my ways. Like a nation that does what is right, that has not abandoned the laws of its God, they ask me for the right way. They are eager for the nearness of God. Why, when we fasted, did you not see? When we starved our bodies, did you pay no heed? Because on your fast day you tend to your business and oppress all your laborers. Because you fast in strife and contention, and you strike with a wicked fist. Your fasting today is not such as to make your voice heard on high. Is such the fast I desire, a day for men to starve their bodies? Is it bowing the head like a bulrush and lying in sackcloth and ashes? Do you call that a fast? A day when the Lord is favorable? No, this is the fast I desire. Unlock all the bonds of wickedness. Untie the cords of the yoke. Let the oppressed go free. Break off every yoke. Share your bread with the hungry. Take the homeless into your home. When you see the naked, clothe him. Do not ignore those who are in need. Then shall your light burst through like the dawn, and your healing spring up quickly. Your vindicator shall march before you. The presence of the Lord shall be your rear guard. Then when you call, the Lord will answer. When you cry, he will say, Here I am. If you banish the yoke of oppression from your midst, the menacing hand and evil speech, and you offer your compassion to the hungry and satisfy the famished creature, then shall your light shine in darkness, and your gloom shall be like noonday. The Lord will guide you always. He will slake your thirst in times of drought and give strength to your bones. You shall be like a watered garden, like a spring whose waters do not fail. You shall rebuild the ancient ruins and restore foundations laid long ago. You shall be called rebuilder of fallen walls, restorer of homes for the homeless. If you refrain from trampling the Sabbath, from pursuing your affairs on my holy day, if you call the Sabbath delight, the Lord's holy day honored, and if you honor it and go not your ways, nor look to your affairs, nor strike bargains, then you shall find the favor of the Lord. I will set you astride the heights of the earth, and let you enjoy the heritage of your father Jacob, for the mouth of the Lord has spoken. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzur kol haolamim tzadik b'kol hadorot ha'el ha'ne'eman ha'omer ve'oseh ha'medaber u'mkayem shekol devarav emet v'tzedek ne'eman atahu Adonai Eloheinu v'ne'emanim devarecha v'davar echad mivarecha achor lo yeshuv rekam ki el melech ne'eman v'rachaman atah Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el ha'ne'eman b'kol devarav. Rachem al Tzion ki hi beit hayenu, v'la'alu vat nefesh toshia, b'imchera v'yameinu. Baruch atah Adonai, misameach Tzion b'vanecha. Samcheinu Adonai Eloheinu, v'Eliyahu hanavi avdecha, u'malchut Beit David meshichecha, b'imchera yavo v'yagel libenu, al kiso lo yeshev zar, v'lo yinchalu od achirim et kivodo, ki b'shem kodshecha, nishbata lo shelo yikvei nero leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen David. Al haTorah v'al ha'avodah v'al hanbim v'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh v'al yom hazikaron hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu l'kedusha v'limnucha limchila l'slicha ulkapera l'kavod ultifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach u'mevarachim otach yitbarach shimcha b'fi kol haytamid le'olam va'ed u'dvarecha emet v'kayam la'ad Baruch atah Adonai melech mohel v'sulecha la'avotenu Vanod Amo Beit Yisrael Uma'avir Ashmotenu Bechol Shana V'Shana Melech HaKol Haaretz Mekadesh B'Shabbat V'Yisrael Melech HaKol Haaretz Mekadesh HaShabbat V'Yisrael Melech HaKol Haaretz Mekadesh HaShabbat V'Yisrael V'Yom HaKippurim.
Amen.
We continue now back in the Machzor on page 149. Page 149. As we return the scroll to the ark.
Eternal presence, who blessed our mothers and fathers, bless this holy congregation, a house of study, prayer, and righteous deeds. Together we give thanks for our leaders who learn, teach, and uphold the Torah, inspiring others to learn, teach, and uphold the Torah. Those who do the sacred work of building our community, may their service bring them joy, fulfillment, and purpose, and may they go from strength to strength. For our members, diverse in age, interest, and background, Jews by birth, Jews by choice, and those of other faiths who join with us. All who offer their time and talent, their love and commitment. For all who come here on this holy day of Yom Kippur to share the search for meaning and renewal. Your presence is a blessing, your friendship a gift. May the spirit of peace, dignity, and respect live within these walls, inspiring us to care for one another with compassion, and may we be a source of goodness, light, and healing for the world. May the one who blessed the generations before us bless us as we stand together this day, one congregation joined with all Jewish communities of the world through our prayers on this day of atonement. Let us renew ourselves for the year ahead. Let us honor the precious legacy that is ours.
God of holiness, we hear your message. Justice, justice, you shall pursue. God of freedom, we hear your charge. Proclaim liberty throughout the land. Inspire us through your teachings and commandments to love and uphold our precious democracy. Let every citizen take responsibility for the rights and freedoms we cherish. Let each of us be an advocate for justice, an activist for liberty, a defender of dignity. And let us champion the values that make our nation a haven for the persecuted, a beacon of hope among the nations. May our actions reflect compassion for all people within our borders and abroad. May our leaders and officials embody the vision of our founders to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. We pray for courage and conscience as we aim to support our country's highest values and aspirations, the hard-won human rights and civil rights that define us as a people. We pray for all who serve our country with selfless devotion in the armed forces and the Peace Corps, from fields of battle to clinics and classrooms, from government to grassroots. All those whose noble deeds and sacrifice benefit our nation and our world. We are grateful for the rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness that our founders attributed to you, our Creator. We pray for their wisdom and moral strength, that we may be guardians of these rights for ourselves and for the sake of all people, now and forever.
Avinu Shebashamayim, Tzur Yisrael v'Goalo, Barech et Medinat Yisrael Reshit Tzmichat Geulatenu. Our God in heaven, you are high above all nations, states, and peoples. Rock of Israel, the one who has saved us and preserved us in life. Bless the state of Israel, the first flowering of our national rebirth. Bless her loving shield, a shelter of lasting peace. Guide her leaders and advisors by your light of truth. Instruct them with your good counsel. Strengthen the hands of those who build and protect our Holy Land. Deliver them from danger, crown their efforts with success. Grant peace to the land, lasting joy to all who live there. And together we say,
Amen.
Invite to open the ark doors, John and Carol Winston, as we return the Torah to the ark. Page 155.
It's Chaim Lama Chazikiva V'tomateha Mehusha Deracheha Darchei Noam V'kum Tivoteha Shalom Hashivenu Adonai Elecha V'nashuva Kadesh Kadesh Yameinu Kadesh Yameinu
Everyone can be seated. Page 156. We stand in humility, conscious of our failings. Shema Kolenu, Adonai, hear our call. True sacrifice to God is a penitent spirit. You treasure a crushed and repentant heart. For you are close to the brokenhearted and you give strength to a suffering soul. You are the healer of shattered hearts. You are the one who binds up their wounds. We read together. For thus says the high and exalted one, who lives forever, whose name is holy. I dwell in a high and holy place, but also with the downcast and lowly, to bring new life to despondent souls, to restore and revive repentant hearts. Return now, Israel, to Adonai your God, for you have fallen because of your sin. Take words with you and return to God. Ask the Eternal, forgive what is wrong, accept what is good. We stand in humility, conscious of our failings. We set before you the wrongs we have done. We trust in your compassion, for you know who we are. Shema Kolenu, Adonai, hear our call. Page 160. Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, tavo lefanecha tefilatenu, v'al titalam mitchinatenu. Anachnu azei fanim u'kshei oref, lomar lefanecha, Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, tzadikim anachnu v'lo chatanu, aval anachnu chatanu. We read together. Our God and God of all generations, may our prayers reach your presence. And when we turn to you, do not be indifferent. Adonai, we are arrogant and stubborn, claiming to be blameless and free of sin. In truth, we have stumbled and strayed. We have done wrong.
Ashamnu,
Ashamnu,
Bagadnu,
Gadnu,
Gazalnu,
Zalnu,
Dibarnu Dofi,
Anu Tofi,
Evinu,
Evinu,
Irshanu,
Shanu,
Zadnu,
Zadnu,
Hamasnu,
Hamas,
Tafalu Shaker,
Fahalu Shaker,
Yatsnura,
Yahatsnura,
Gizavnu,
Gizavnu,
Latsnu,
Lahatsnu,
Maratnu,
Maradnu,
Saranu,
Lahatsnu, Yatsnu Saran,
Saranu,
Sarahanu,
Avinu,
Avinu,
Pashanu,
Pashanu,
Savranu,
Sarahanu,
Ishinu Ore,
Kishinu Ore,
Rashanu,
Rashanu,
Shichatnu,
Shechatu,
Tiavnu,
Tiavnu,
Tainu,
Tainu,
Titanu.
Titanu. Page 163. If repentance means anything, it points to a radical human freedom, especially to the possibility of freeing ourselves from the effects of our own past transgressions. Past does not determine the future. Our destiny is not fixed and beyond our power to change. No matter what we have done, we can make a decision to turn in a different direction tomorrow. In the most profound sense, no choice we made in the past is final or irredeemable, and even our most awful misdeeds can propel us in a radically new direction. Page 164. We stand for the long confession.
אחרי שחטאנו לפניך באימוץ הלב, ואחרי שחטאנו לפניך בבלי דעת, אחרי שחטאנו לפניך בהונאת רע, ואחרי שחטאנו לפניך בזלזול הורים ומורים, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בחוזק יד, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך ביצר הרע.
For the wrong we have done in your presence through cruel or callous acts together, and for the wrong we have done in your presence through thoughtlessness, for the wrong we have done in your presence by taking advantage of others, and for the wrong we have done in your presence by being disrespectful to parents and teachers, for the wrong we have done in your presence by the abuse of power, and for the wrong we have done in your presence by giving in to the evil impulse. For all these wrongs, God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, help us atone.
Salach lanu, yechal lanu, kaper lanu. על חטא שחטאנו לפניך, בכחש ובחזר, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך, בכפת שוחד. על חטא שחטאנו לפניך, ברצון, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך, במשא ומתן. על חטא שחטאנו לפניך, במאכל ובמשתה, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך, בנשך ובמרבית. על חטא שחטאנו לפניך, בנטיית גרון, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך, בעזות מצח.
Together. For the wrong we have done in your presence through lies and falsehood, and for the wrong we have done in your presence through bribery, for the wrong we have done in your presence through cynicism, and for the wrong we have done in your presence through business dealings, for the wrong we have done in your presence through eating and drinking, and for the wrong we have done in your presence by greed and exploitation, for the wrong we have done in your presence through arrogance, and for the wrong we have done in your presence through stubbornness. For all these wrongs, God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, help us atone.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בפריקת עול, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בפלילות, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בקלות ראש, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בקשיות עורף, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בריצת רגליים להרע, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בשנאת חינם, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בתשומת יד, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בתימהון לבב.
For the wrong we have done in your presence by losing self-control, and for the wrong we have done in your presence by judging others unfairly, for the wrong we have done in your presence by irreverence, and for the wrong we have done in your presence through obstinacy, for the wrong we have done in your presence through impulsive acts of malice, and for the wrong we have done in your presence by hating without cause, for the wrong we have done in your presence through misuse of another's property, and for the wrong we have done in your presence by panic and confusion. For all these wrongs, God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, help us atone.
Salach lanu, mechalanu, kaper lanu, E'apula, E'oslichot, Salach lanu, mechalanu, Salach lanu, mechalanu, kaper lanu.
Kulam Eloha Slichot,
Salach lanu, mechalanu, kaper lanu.
Be seated. We take a few moments now for Cheshbon HaNefesh, introspection and silent confession. You may be guided by the texts on page 170 and 171. Page 172.
Yanu Amecha ve'ata Eloheinu. Anu Amecha ve'ata Avinu. Anu Avadecha ve'ata Adoneinu. Anu Kahalecha ve'ata Chelkeinu. Anu Nachalatecha ve'ata Goraleinu. Anu Tzonecha ve'ata Ro'einu. Anu Karmecha ve'ata Notreinu. Anu Pulatecha ve'ata Yotzreinu. Anu Rayatecha ve'ata Dodeinu. Anu Segulatecha ve'ata Kroveinu. Anu Amecha ve'ata Malkeinu. Anu Merecha ve'ata Malkeinu.
Page 178. Shema Kolenu, hear our call, and may we hear yours in our apologies and confessions, in the meditations of our heart, in the accountings of our soul. Hear our call, and may we hear yours in words of counsel and consolation, in the silence of one who listens, in the strength of a hand that upholds. Hear our call, Adonai Eloheinu, as we strive to hear yours on this day of the heart, this day of repair and healing. Shema Kolenu.
Shema Koleinu, Adonai Eloheinu, Uzberachim Aleinu, Kabel Berachamim Uratzon, Et Tefilateinu, Hashivenu Adonai Elecha, Lenashuvah, U'adesh Yameinu Edel.
The day's activities continue immediately following our departure from the Beit Tfilah. Rabbi Moshe Levin will be leading us in a brief Yom Kippur study. There's Moshe. And that will take place in the social hall. For those of you who have not had an opportunity to study with Rabbi Levin, this is a rare and cherished opportunity. So in this gap between the morning and afternoon service, you might want to begin by joining in that study session. At 2:45, we will continue with music and meditation in the fireside room. This is a kind of gentle moment of reflection with an anthology of readings and some thoughtful music and some periods of silence to rest the soul before we return to the Beit Tfilah at 4 o'clock for the afternoon and concluding Yizkor and concluding services. Just a reminder to those in the Jonah crew to meet with me briefly in my office immediately following the end of this part of our morning, of our day's prayers. I wish for all of you a day of reflection. May God be with you as you search within yourselves. And may you find the strength to make some changes for good. Hayom ta'ansenu. Strengthen us this day. Bless us. Exalt us. Show us kindness this day. Describe us this day for a life of goodness. This day hear our cry. Now and always support us with the strength of your righteousness. Amen. Page 180.
Hayom, 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 hayom t'amtenu, amen. Hayom, 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 hayom t'ifachenu, amen. Hayom, 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 hayom t'ifachenu, amen. Hayom, 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 t'ifachenu t'tova, amen. Hayom, hayom, t'tevenu, l'chayim tovim, amen. Hayom, 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 t'shmor shalvatenu, amen. Hayom, hayom, t'tevenu, b'mizrikecha, b'mizrikecha, amen, amen.